We're here with week 2 of the LTM, a bit of a quicker introduction this time as I'm preparing for the regional championships for Magic the Gathering this weekend, so a little bit less time to actually script this one out. Hope you guys still enjoy it though. If you guys are new here, make sure to subscribe. If you have not already, we drop a bunch of great Draft League content all the time. You'll definitely want to make sure you're subscribed for that. Let's do a quick little look down at what Tone has got for his team. He's got Terrakion, Slowking, Terra Rabombi, Clodsire, Incineroar, Registeel, Braviary, Arboliva, oh my god, I can't pronounce that, Terra, Rotom, Floatzel, Terra, and Sandslash Alola. He's got a lot of interesting things on his team. Floatzel and Sandslash, he's got some like a little bit of weather aspects that he can incorporate on his team. The Slowking into Sandslash Alola being the main one. Terra Rabombi is an interesting Terra Captain, not super great into this matchup. But the main threat's going to be Terrakion. Terrakion is one of those new broken Pokemon that we've allowed in low tier. And this Pokemon's really, really hard for most teams to deal with. I have a lot of interesting answers, but I kind of want to use one of them as my Terra Captain, the Sinister, right? So I want to Terra it out of the typing that's decent against it. Though, I mean, you still take a million from CB Stone Edge, right? So a little bit of a tough matchup here. Let's get a look at the team that I'm bringing in this battle. I got Asulpes, Goodra, Hisui. This Pokemon is really, really good in this matchup. Comes in on Rabombi, comes in on Slowking, comes in on Arboliva, comes in on Rotom, and comes in on so many things. And he does not have a good Draco switch-in, right? His Draco switch-in is like Registeel, which like has to like contend with some Flamethrower, some knockoffs. It's Rabombi is the immunity, which just dies to Flash Cannon, right? Like it takes immunity and just dies after rocks. Or if it's a Focus Sash set and if it's Boots, it just straight up dies to Flash Cannon, right? So this Pokemon really, really good as kind of that defensive Pokemon. And then it's got a lot more investment this week to actually push offensive pressure, something I really struggled to do last week. Next up, we're going for a bit of a different perspective on Sinistcha this week. We have Choice Spec Sinistcha with Terra Ground. This set is very, very difficult for Tone to switch into. The Terra Ground does make it a little bit susceptible to stuff like the Slowking, the Arboliva, but with adding ground coverage to Sinistcha, this Pokemon becomes super, super difficult for Tone to actually just switch into at all now. Something like Incineroar, which would have been a common switch in, now just like dies to Terra Blast after a little bit of chip. Registeel can't switch into Terra Blast. Arboliva, one of the things in Mox we've ran was Terra Poison, struggles with Terra Blast Ground. And then Clodsire as well. So really difficult for Tone to actually switch into this Pokemon with the Terra Ground active in the choice specs. So hopefully this kind of fits that new trend, right, of playing a little bit more offensively this week. Hopefully making better progress with this team. One of the endgame win conditions here I have is Bulk Up, Roost, Flame Charge, Talonflame. This seems a little odd into Slowking. But one of the ideas and one of the things we kind of came to with this team is eventually, like between the Goodra and the Sinistcha, your game plan, and Munkidori later, you should be in a position where that Slowking's HP can be managed pretty well and be kept super low, especially if you knock off the heavy duty boots it's probably going to wear. You get those rocks up, like it's going to have to take a lot of Dracos, a lot of hits, and this is a pretty good win con against this team. It's also a speed option, right? We need something to outspeed that Terrakion. Brave Bird is obviously not the best way to do it, but one threatens it out with the Willows and various stuff. And once it's taken like half HP, which is pretty likely given the way that our comp is set up, it can just drop to like the Brave Bird without a bulk up. And this thing as a win con, like if it gets a booster too, does actually do a lot to his team. I think this is maybe the one set I regret going into this battle. Would have maybe liked to have a more useful set, but I think that this can take advantage of a few certain parts of his team and be a decent cleaner in the end game. This is my answer here, Mudsdale Citrus Berry, to that problematic Terrakion. This is a very limited time answer though, unfortunately, because of the fact that like the combination of stabs, Choice Band is just a set that this team can't really contend with. I could run Tauros Paldea here in this slot. That was a consideration, but I didn't really feel like it added a lot to this team. It just really just invited Slowking in pretty much every single time and kept that Pokemon's HP high. Mudsdale does that as well, but at least you get the Stealth Rocks up. At least you have access to something like Roar, so you can click Roar on Terrakion and at least get another turn where Slowking's not out there. It's between this or Tauros, I think, for that slot. And I wanted the option to get my Stealth Rocks up early on the sequence instead of the Tauros. Next up, we have Choice Scarf Munkidori. This Pokemon was actually a really good cleaner in this matchup. The way that we expect this game to kind of go is that Incineroar kind of has to die early to the Sinistcha realistically. and that gives me really free turns to click Psychic. Lots of opportunities to get Toxic Chains against something like the Slow King. Really wear that down. And then Focus Blast here. We really should have had that move last week. We make sure we have it this week. Really important for something like the Registeel, which we might need to answer in the end game. And then this is kind of my real win condition. One of my other real win conditions. This is a good kind of general check to a lot of his team. But Rest, Curse, Stone Edge. I think one of the misses on this team is this should have been something like a Frostlass to get more hazards up. I really like this idea as like a secondary check to something like the Rabombi Incineroar. I can come in on Clodsire sometimes. It's an emergency check to Terrakion as well. Frostlass could have been that as well though. But overall, I think this set like was okay. And a lot of the things that you're trying to do is just click Stone Edge and Earthquake to put damage as much as possible. And then you have Curse, Rest. Rest to just give yourselves longevity in the end game because your HP is so high. And then Curse gives you a little bit of the opportunity to win when there are kind of comps like Rabombi, Clodsire, Incineroar, Registeel, and like maybe like Terra Arboliva into like a Poison or something like Rotom in the back. Like there are a lot of comps that once this team actually offensively pressures through, this set can win. But maybe a little bit of regret there. Kind of shows that the regional championships has been taking a lot of my time. But this team definitely has more than enough to win this battle given the offensive composition. Let's get right into the battle. So week number 2 against Tone, his Terra Captain Rabombi is Ghost type. No Arboliva, which is very interesting. That's actually pretty good for our team here. So our main goal of this matchup is to lead with Choice Spec Sinisha and to start putting on a lot of damage as quickly as possible. That is something we failed to do in the last battle. He doesn't have anything like the Floatzel, the Alolan Sand Slash, none of the weather kind of nonsense that he can put on his team. A lot of defensive pieces. I expect the Terrakion offensively to be the big threat here. Luckily, Modest Choice Scarf, what's the thing called? Munkidori kills that. So, got a lot of good things going here for our team. As I said, Choice Scarf, Terra Ground, Sinisha does so much damage here, especially depending on what leads. We might be able to just not pick up a kill, but pick up some massive damage here early on in this battle. We would love to see something like a Terrakion lead. That would be really nice. But good luck, have fun to Tone, and let's get right into the first battle of the low tier Mayhem. Rabombi lead. Kind of makes sense a little bit, right? Just to try to get up sticky webs here, if at all possible, for my opponent. Turning into the ground type here. I guess I can turn into the ground type because this thing is a Ghost Terra Captain. So I do need to get out of this Terra type here early. And if they set up webs, they set up webs, right? That's going to be a little bit of an annoyance to this team. I mean, I have a defogger, I guess, but I didn't really bring it this week. So let's just Terra Captain immediately to go for the Shadow Ball. And that'll prevent any sort of nonsense coming from this Pokemon with their own Terra Captain if they Terra Blast. So I don't expect them to Terra into Terra Blast would be super weird into this turn. I think it wouldn't make sense. And the fact that like we've gone second kind of solidifies that is going to be the case here. So it means that our win con is really going to have to be that Talonflame. It is going to be immune to sticky webs in this battle. He could obviously just go for something else like a U-turn. He is just going to Moonblast. We're going to take a decent amount here. That is 160. Wow, the drop is also a little bit frustrating. That looks to be about Timid Shield Dust from a... What's it called? It's Timid Shield Dust. So that looks to be about the HP you would expect from Timid 252. So we'll take that all day. Not a problem. And we can go right out into our AV Goodra. Just want to get some chip early, right? That's kind of what we needed to see in this battle with some early chip. Start to make progress. We didn't see Sticky Web, which is also super, super crucial to this battle. But yeah, looking at that is Modest, or not, that is Timid 252. So we get some early chip. This Pokemon a bit less useful the rest of the battle. Can obviously come in on Registeel and stuff still. Perfectly fine. And we're going to shred this Moonblast off every time. Yeah, nice little 60 damage. Don't take anything from that. And now, interesting turn here. I assume Sticky Webs are going to go up. I don't have any reason to make another play, right? I assume something like a Registeel comes out here. And if Registeel comes out, I get my rocks up. So I'm okay with that. Let's just go for a Flash Cannon. Just punish this Pokemon if it wants to stay in, right? If he wants to stay in, then that's fine, right? We take a kill here, and then we're good with that to start this battle. No reason to get over-predicted at this point, especially with the likely switch to punish this attack. I get my rocks up, so we'll take that all day of the week. Unfortunately, if this is not boots, that's not in range of stealth rocks, so they do get another attack. But the stealth rocks will put them in range of knockoff, so that is very good for me. The 61, yeah, this is definitely the focus sash set. I'd have to guess. This is a pretty free withdraw into Incineroar. Okay. So Intimidate comes out. Obviously, this is going to eat that Flash Cannon every single time. A little annoying. And we see probably what looks to be heavy-duty boots. I kind of do need to preserve, to a certain degree, my HP on this Mudsdale, right? Because it is my Terrakion answer. Stealth Rocks haven't gone up, or my Sticky Webs haven't gone up, which is good for me to a certain degree. And the problem is, if I go Incineroar... the problem is, Incineroar can just kill my guy. Thing is, I have Citrus Berry on this, which should be good enough. Let's just go here, right? Like, our plan is to get our Stealth Rocks up, right? Like, Stealth Rocks are really important here in this battle to punish his team. He doesn't have a remover on his team. We do have some knockoff in Goodra, and in comes a knockoff here. So, yeah, if we go into something like Sinisha, we lose our Pokemon for no reason. That's just dumb. No reason to do something like that. Shout out to J. Ricky. Get that berry up. I mean, he could Stealth Rock. I mean, he could fucking get me, right? With the what's it called? I guess he just could be Taunt in this spot. I guess I don't. I mean, he just go Rotom, right? I don't know. I'm just clicking Stealth Rock. He's just going to Parting Shot. Okay. I got caught on a taunt last time. I don't get caught on a taunt this time. And this looks to just be a very, very standard defensive set. And that means we get our Stealth Rocks up. They can't go into Terrakion. They probably go Slowking and try to Chilly Reception out, if I had to guess. Is the most likely play here? Yeah. What I did in the mock on this turn was I just went for a Roar to prevent the Chilly Reception into something. I don't know if that's like necessarily a great play. That knockoff did what? 90... 91... Is this minus nature knockoff? No, I must just be bad at calcs. Or I just had the wrong set. I don't know, man. Yeah, the problem here is the Chilly Reception is really powerful, right? The thing is, luckily, I'm at a high enough HP where I can come in and be fine, I think. That I'm just going to go into the Goodra. If it's Choice Band Terrakion, it's Choice Band Terrakion. It's kind of a box check for my team in a lot of ways. And it just goes for the Future Sight. Okay, that's good to know. I'm okay with that. Obviously, you're going to want a Chilly now. I mean, you want a Chilly now. The problem is if you can't go Hard Terrakion here. Hard Terrakion is a non-play. You've seen my set be special. Yeah, let's get this item removed. This is likely to be a heavy-duty boots. Yeah, big boots removed, and the joke has been told. The problem is that this sets up a kill on my... This sets up a kill on my Mudsdale now with Terrakion, which is not great. I don't like that. That is a pretty good sequence setup. I think in the mock I got Scalded on. So I assume Terrakion has to come out here, yeah. And I don't have a good way to play around this turn. I'm going to be honest with you. This kind of sequence was really hard to prepare for in this battle. I kind of can't go anything, right? Like, I can go this, I guess, and lose my Pokemon. If it's SD, then I can go into my... I mean, if it's SD, I can go into Munkidori after. I think that given... yeah, I guess... I mean, Mudsdale's role was to get up rocks, right, and to come in on this Pokemon. Unfortunately, it's playing a little bit of a planned sack role here in this battle. But that's perfectly fine. We've got good damage on part of his team already. That I think we just have to accept this. It goes for the substitute. That's a little bit tough, actually. Ooh. Yeah, and I'm going to have to take this Future Sight now. The thing is, I do get a stamina boost here. So, Terrakion is not choice banded. And we're at +1. So I actually do live everything here now from this Terrakion. So I'm just going to Roar, right? No reason to do anything besides Roar. I live every hit from this Pokemon at +1. And he's just going to Swords Dance. Perfect turn. Perfect turn. Okay. This could have been way worse than it ended up being, right? This could have been so much worse. And this Mudsdale is obviously very much on a timer for how much it can actually impact this game. But sub-SD thwarted by Roar on Mudsdale. That is a perfect turn. What comes in here? Rotom. Rotom's fine. We get to see item on this. No boots. Okay, good to know. Obviously, a Volt Switch is probably... I mean, they probably Shadow Ball here, right? It's hard to Volt Switch in front of the Mudsdale. I mean, if they Volt Switch, they Volt Switch, right? That's a good play. The problem now with that sub... I mean, I have Earthquake on this, right? Yeah, so Earthquake should be fine. I can live... My Regirock should be able to help manage this problem in this battle. So let's just go into Goodra here. We can go back into Mudsdale, right, on the Terrakion to prevent it from SDing and put ourselves in a situation with Regirock to break a substitute. And it is just going to Shadow Ball. Okay, keep playing it safe here, right? No reason to get risky with it. And that is a good amount of chip damage. Not a lot of chip damage, actually. So the question is where do they go from here? Rabombi obviously would be aggressive. I don't think that really makes a lot of sense at all. I think they're pretty clearly going to Volt Switch out into probably something like a Slowking, if I had to guess. They could go Registeel, but I'm okay if they go Registeel. My endgame is looking pretty decent here, all things considered. We're slowly starting to get chips. So let's just drop a Draco. Let's just do some damage, man. That looks to be choiced. Yeah, you switched out. That's got to be choiced. Slowking, would really love to see this Draco land here. Just keep this thing as low as humanly possible throughout this battle. Obviously, this is not going to do terrible amount of damage. Okay, that actually did a lot more than I was expecting, to be honest. Damn, I'll take that. Do I just drop a Draco again, just to keep this thing even, like, super low? Like, is that just my play here? I think I'm incentivized to, like, obviously he's going to Chili, right? But I think I'm just incentivized to drop a Draco. Let's just do as much damage as possible. No, let's not complicate this, right? If we can get this piece out of the way, this is one of his best ways of getting into Terrakion, which is the biggest problem here in this matchup right now, is Terrakion. If we can get rid of that problem, then we're in a really good spot. Especially because Talonflame, I'm pretty sure Talonflame can now check the Terrakion with Brave Bird if it substitutes again, right? Because it's going to take, what, a little bit of chip, a little bit of chip. Let's see, he might also consider switching here. I think at -2 he's guaranteed to live, but he might be really concerned with taking this extra chip. He doesn't, like, keeping himself so low. Because then he can't come in on a lot of things. And he is going to withdraw. Okay, I assumed a Rabombi here, right? Yeah, aggressive into Rabombi. I mean, I just killed this at -2, right? Yeah, I just killed this now. I mean, he could get up Sticky Webs, right? I mean, he could get up Sticky Webs, but I think at that point, I kind of have to accept... I mean, I kind of have to accept that that would happen, right? Because this is the Focus Sash set. Well, let's just Flash Cannon. If he sets up webs, he sets up... Yeah, he gets the webs up. Okay, so we have to check this now with the Talonflame. What are my Talonflame calcs against the... Talonflame calcs against the Terrakion? They look okay. They look okay. It's going to have to be Regirock a little bit. But there we go. Terra Captain down. Rabombi was a potential problem in this battle. The Goodra picks up its first kill of the season. And we get on the board early. Hey, we're on the board, chat. We're on the board. We are certainly on the board. The problem now is that Terrakion has a super free substitute turn. But once again, it can't sub and SD in this battle. Which means I can go into Regirock after. Regirock is going to take a lot of damage here, but I can break the sub. He's just going to go Slowking. Interesting. Okay. I assume just to get Regenerator off, right? Like, that's pretty free for him to just go and get some Regenerator here. What are the moves that we've seen on the Slowking right now? The one thing I also really want to find an opportunity to do, a little unfortunate I tear in my Sinister, right? I think it was a fine prediction, like, thing to play around, but the grass and ghost typing would have been really nice into this specific Terrakion set. Though it's, I think, I can't second guess that now. There's no point in doing that. He can Chili. The thing is, if he Chilies and I go into Mudsdale, There's no way you're attacking, right? I feel like I just go Sinistra, actually. This seems like a weird play, right? This seems like an unintuitive play. But what this does if he chilies is he can't SD, and then I can go into... He can't set up with his... He's gonna Future Sight. That's even better for me. Wow, that's actually a huge turn for me then. Because yeah, he definitely can't go into Terrakion now. At this point, and he's definitely got to switch out here. He could go Rotom. Rotom's actually really hard to go into here. I think I go for the Terra Blast Ground. I think this is a Pokemon he's shown he needs to save. And I think you can't go Rotom here because Shadow Ball is super free. And he goes Incineroar. Nice. A Choice Specs Terra Blast Ground into Incineroar is a mega here on this turn. And that should do a whole bunch of damage. And that gets an Intimidator out of the way. Oh, almost killed. Damn. Ah, that almost kills. That's so sad. Oh, that's so sad. Do I have to lose this Pokemon now? Surely I can find a play that's better, right? All right, so man, if that kills, that's so good. I guess Terrakion would have come in for free. That's probably fine. I don't have a lot of good switch-ins. I need this thing at high. I need this thing to have boots and HP on it. Sinistra is going to have to take a lot from this Incineroar on a knockoff. I think I stay in and attack. I think I just have to continue. I'm going to have to sack. I think I have to sack this Pokemon now. I have to pick a sack to, what's it called? And I at least pick up this KO, right? I have to pick a sack to the Future Sight. So if I kill this Pokemon, so that's one of my deterrents here in this battle for my Talonflame endgame. And now I get to bring in the Mudsdale for free on his team. The Slowking is still a problem, right? Slowking is a little bit of an issue, but like we still have a lot going for us here. I think that's the safest way out of this position for me. Obviously, Sinistra is really, really good in this battle. But Bulk Up Talonflame is still really, really powerful here. Obviously, I'm not in a position where I guarantee the KO. So I have to go into Mudsdale here. I have to protect against the Terrakion at all costs. Slowking. Okay, so really looking to prioritize keeping that Slowking HP as high as possible. Really looking to prioritize keeping that HP as high as possible, which makes sense, right? Like, that is the obvious play. I mean, Chilly Reception is tough here. I'm going to have to accept that happens, right? I have to accept that at this point. I think part of my win con now is also poisoning this with Munkidori at some point. I mean, I don't know. I think he's just going to Chilly, right? I don't have another play, though. Oh, he just does Scald. Okay, that's really good for me. Burn is annoying, but not like the end of the world. Not the end of the world, right? I can just drop a Draco and put pressure on this thing's HP. Let's just drop a Draco. Let's just keep things simple. It's gonna have to eat this Draco, right, to Chilly into Terrakion. And then, once again, we need this thing's HP to be low for like the Curse set. Because like Curse Regirock looks really good here now. Actually, like we can Curse up a little bit. Obviously, we still needed to break Terrakion at some point, given how much damage it's taken. Oh, why did I click Air Balloon on this? It's actually in range of Earthquake now, given the expected set. He's going to withdraw. Something's taking this Draco Meteor. Probably Registeel? Yeah, Registeel's taking this Draco Meteor. Alright, Miss is fine, right? Miss doesn't matter. This is an interesting spot, right? One of the things that can be awkward here, I think I go Mudsdale. Problem is Mudsdale has to go into harm's way here, I think, is just what has to be done. I think likely a Rocks comes up here. He could, like, if he attacks into me, then I get a boost in stamina, which is important. That's really, really important. And if he Iron Defenses, I need to be able to roar this out. Yeah, okay. We can just roar this out. So Iron Defense now. This is ID Body Press. The problem is this is going to now require this to take a lot of damage. These webs are going to be a problem. I mean, let's just roar this out, right? Like, we got to get this out of here. Oh, wow. 1 HP is crazy. But now I lose one of my best checks to the Terrakion. And if he goes Terrakion here, that's a little tough. That's a little tough, to be honest. Rotom, yeah, I guess in a Slowking's okay, right? I think at this point I have to sack this Pokemon off. Yeah, I mean, at 1 HP, right? There's nothing that this thing can really do. Alright, let's just Earthquake, put a little bit of chip on this, to keep this thing low. Scald, that's fine. And now we get a Munkidori in. The Munkidori does make this look like a good spot to get that in. The Goodra is obviously, it can obviously be nice here as well. But I think I want to go Munkidori and U-turn. The problem is I'm running into a situation where there might be inevitability on this Registeel. Focus Blast into Focus Blast kills for Munkidori, but... Alright, let's go Munkidori and just U-turn here. Try to bait a Toxic on this Pokemon, because I just might need that in the end game, right? That's actually, I might need that at this point. And he doesn't know what set I am. For all he knows, I could kill here. There's definitely like a lot of coverage moves that can kill here, right? Like any super effective coverage move kills. So I assume you're just going to go Registeel. I could Focus Blast. Focus Blast would be kind of a high aura play. Right? If I U-turn, I can go Talonflame on Registeel. That doesn't really help me though, right? Because he's ID, Body Press. He might have coverage for me. I mean, if I U-turn, I go into the, what's it called? If I U-turn, I go into Goodra. Alright, he's going to withdraw. Alright, he goes Rotom. Okay, I'll take that. That could have been... I was thinking in my head a little bit, this is where he might decide to go, which would have made this a little bit awkward if I went for the Focus Blast. I don't know if... It's not going to tell me whether I get the thing or not, right? I don't think it does. So that's Choice Scarf. We know that for a fact. We have to go into this. I do think the pieces are running out though, unfortunately. That's kind of my main concern at this point, is I feel like I don't have a lot to actually pressure his team. He might stay into attack here. I think I have the Flamethrower, I think. I don't think he goes Slowking. I mean, if he goes Slowking, then I can Draco after, right? I have to protect against the Registeel coming in here. And this Flamethrower is still doing a lot. So let's just Flamethrower into a probable Registeel, I think. I don't think anything like Terrakion is very likely. And I think he might look at this as a Registeel opportunity, which would be fair. And this chip would be really nice. I really like a burn here too. Want to give me a burn, chat? I guess also I could fish for a burn on the Slowking. Draco's so obvious here though, right? Slowking's annoying. Really would have liked to have picked up the burn. Any burns? Come on. No burn is crazy. I say that as like it's a 10% chance. Obviously the Draco damage would have been nice on this, the Registeel too, right? Whatever, I'm just Dracoing now. This thing is going to have high enough HP to get back and pull this sequence off later. So I'd rather like fish for damage here on Slowking, keep this thing low. Because I need this thing to be low for my Talonflame. I need this thing to be low for Talonflame, come on. Can I get a crit or something? No. That's good, that's good damage though. Slack off, okay. Alright, so we know the full set here now. That's good. I think you're definitely switching out. You're chilling here. I think I'm gonna Munkidori. I don't think there's a way you attack, right? But you could set up a future sight on this turn. And I gotta protect against, now I have to protect against Chili into Registeel. Is I think the next thing I really have to play around at this point. Rotom's HP is also starting to get low. Yeah, he just goes for the future sight. All right, I get a U-turn poison opportunity, or I get an opportunity to come in on the Registeel again, which is super nice. Obviously, they're probably going to switch out here. They did last time because it's super high risk to stay in, risk a Toxic, risk just like dying to like an attack. I've only shown U-turn, so I don't really have any. They don't have any perspective on my set yet, so it's really hard to stay in here. Obviously, something like Registeel would make sense, and then I can just start flamethrowing that Pokemon. I gotta get Chip on that Pokemon. Oh, they do let me U-turn on this. Toxic? Come on, need that Toxic. It looks like I'm not gonna get it. Looks like I'm not gonna get it. I have to go back into my Gudra though. I have to go back into my Gudra here. Scald, I'll take that all day. So this is the turn I'm going to lose my Gudra. How do I get the most value? I drop a Draco, because Draco kills this. Draco kills this Pokemon, or does a bunch to Registeel, and I save this Pokemon, I get to Flamethrower after. I have to drop a Draco here, my best play. This thing is obviously not as low as I would want. I don't have a lot of tools to keep it low, but I get Chip on this Pokemon, which is nice. More rocks, some Draco, and I should be able to get a Flamethrower off on this Pokemon after the fact, which will be super, super nice. That's a crit. Wow, that is embarrassing damage. I think I'm going to knock off, actually. No, I take the future say, right? So I know I don't lose. No, I do lose this Pokemon. Yeah, okay. That's fine. I do get to come into my Munkidori now. I do have to show Focus Blast, but like whatever, right? That's fine. You have to accept that reality at this point, right? There's not much else I can do. If he wants to go Rotom, then I have to start being aggressive with it. This has a chance to just straight up kill. Do I have to U-turn? What's a winning play here? I think a winning play is honestly U-turn, right? Because Rotom is such a free switch into this Pokemon. This thing's not exactly in range yet. And if I U-turn into Rotom, then I get to go Registeel, click Curse, get into a position where I can deal a lot to this with Earthquake. So I think I'm going to U-turn. I think that like you obviously, you can't stay in here because there's a good chance I just kill you. There you go. And he goes Rotom. Okay, perfect. This is what we needed here. Needed this U-turn. That's going to put a lot of good damage on this. And we get to get a Curse up with our Regirock. Do all these Pokemon have goddamn, what's it called? Covert Cloak on it? Dude, where are my effects? Where are my effects, chat? So at this point, I think I do just like the Curse, right? I could just like obviously go for the Earthquake. Or I could just go for the Stone Edge. The Curse is obviously pretty nice. I do have Wrath to gain HP back. And I do have the thing to get my typing back. You kind of have to switch, right? Because the burn, this thing is super important to you, so. I think I Stone Edge actually, because what? If you stay in, let this thing get burned, right? I think I'm going to Stone Edge. Because you either stay in, let this thing get burned. Ah, crit. Oh, crit's not good. You start setting up, but then this thing gets to be in range of thing, right? I guess you can also go Slowking here, which is a little annoying. Yeah. I'm running... Yeah, that's a little annoying. I guess this Stone Edge can do a lot of damage. The thing is, they've only seen one Slack Off at this point. But like the Slack Off is definitely coming here. And now at this point, I am definitely running out of tools at this point. Look, the Talonflame endgame is still a possibility. We're still always playing towards that. But the Rotom, every turn the Rotom is alive is a turn we are even farther away from that being a reality in this battle. Even if I had SD, this set would have been a little bit better in this spot, which is a little unfortunate. So the only thing the thing we really need to break for that set is the Talonflame, or is the Rotom, and then we can actually break through with that set. What do I have left? Talonflame. I think they're gonna set up a Future Sight. I'm just gonna U-turn, I think. Yeah, I really need this thing to get toxic at one of these points, right? Like, how often have I U-turned on this thing and not gotten a single toxic? Like, has been super, super frustrating. All right, now that we know this thing's full set, is this a setup opportunity against this Pokemon? No, fucking Scarlet is doing so much. Dude, even with all that Spit F bulk, it's just like not working out for me here. I think we'll go Regirock here. Scald, we'll take that. We're gonna lose this Pokemon, unfortunately, and we get burned. That's not great. I think we're just running. Yeah, this team had a decent enough for Slowking, but like any one poison would have been super, super fire on any of these turns. I guess I just sacked this off. Yeah, this thing has no use. A little bit of chip is always nice. He goes for the Future Sight. Well, the thing is, what's good about this is the Future Sight turn happens here, right? If I'm just going to go for the rest, because if you slack off here, then I get this thing back to full HP, which is super useful. The problem is we're never slowing this out of slack offs. Not hitting a single toxic here is a little annoying. But I mean, if that's what my game plan has to come down to, right, then that's kind of a bad game plan, right? Like, that's obviously not like conducive to winning. Keeping Sinistcha would have been nice. I'd have to revisit that turn to see like what I could have kept around. This thing staying alive is nice for the Tracheon, I guess. And that's three things gone. I kind of want to. I have to eat this, right? I'm just gonna Stone Edge. I'm trying to think of like how I actually get around this. Like a random Mickey crit or something would be nice. No burn here would be super fire as well. I take the Future Sight. We live. I just go for this Stone Edge, right? Because if I curse to get a boost and he slack offs, then I'm just slower. Okay. This is good. Hold on. Now this thing gets interesting, right? Munkidori. I have to go Munkidori here, right? That's the only play I have. That's the only play I have. What's my winning line here? I think my winning line is U-turn. U-turn and play from there, right? I have to get this Toxic, man. This Toxic has to happen eventually, right? Surely. If he goes Rotom, that's fine. He has to keep Rotom in the back for Talonflame. I can get into a position where Talonflame can maybe win if Rotom is dead. I think I can do that by... I gotta start with a U-turn here. Okay. Please go Rotom. Or not Rotom. Actually, Rotom is pretty bad here. Fuck. Yeah, maybe I should have just attacked, actually, instead of U-turning. The problem is like, if he just goes Registeel, that's super free for him. No poison! Where's my poison? That's so sad. Yeah, maybe that was Rotom's such a weird play to make, I think. I also don't get any damage on this thing. He Thunderbolts. What's Rotom Thunderbolt versus Munkidori? Is not a 2 KO. I think he Volt Switches. I live this. Is he ever bluffing this? Is he ever bluffing this? I mean, I live, right? So I'll just Flame Charge, see if he was bluffing. Thunderbolt, I live that. Para's crazy, dude. Para's so sick. Alright. Well, I got the Flame Charge off, right? Oh my god, that doesn't even kill? What the hell? That doesn't even fucking kill? Oh my god. That's crazy. Damn. I guess I had to I guess I should have Brave Bird in there. That's a more responsible thing to do. Yeah, I guess I lose this game. Man, I'm trying to think about how I could have played that one differently. I think he's definitely gonna... He can guarantee the differential here at this point. Yeah, I guess if I go this, then I have a decent chance. I don't know. The fact that he parried is super, super tough. I guess I should have Brave Bird to guarantee differential. I don't know. I think it's one of those games where you had a lot of really good defensive pieces, and in low tier, sometimes like your offensive tools just aren't enough to deal with that, right? What does he likely go into here? Can I even play around anything at this point? Because if he goes Reggie-Seal on Focus Blast, I just come back out. I don't have a good click. A Sledge Wave, I guess, if he goes Reggie-Seal. Let's just hope he's like Body Press last. Okay, there we go. We get a diff point. Yeah, that doesn't even matter at this point. Yeah, I mean, maybe if I get the kill, if I get the Flame Charge off, I don't get parried, I have an opportunity to get back in that game still because I'm still Boots, but it is what it is, right? That's how it's going to go. In Pokemon Draft League sometimes. Yeah, so I think we'll have to think about that one a little bit. This has obviously been a very, very tough week for me the last little bit, considering the fact that I have been testing for the Magic Regional Championships, which I'm going to be hopefully playing in day 2, the day that this goes up. But alas, like this one has just been... Oh, I guess if he misses, I get another kill there. But yes, this was a tough one. A mock that I felt good in certain parts of this team. Obviously, Terrakion was really, really tough this week. Rotom was really good. Getting burned early kind of sucked. Not getting a single Toxic also was a little bit frustrating. I ran into situations at the end there where the poison would have been really, really useful. Would have been able to make progress. And I think, honestly, staying the typing I had with Sinistcha, I think it was a mistake. I could have had a lot more flexibility with that Pokemon around the Slowking, and I think I played around something I didn't need to at the start. So, good game to Tone. 2 very, very long games to start LTM, but that's low tier, right? Low tier is going to be very long. We got Kurt next week. That's going to be a really, really exciting one. Good friend of mine. Haven't played him in a long time. So we'll see everyone next week. And as always, have a wonderful day.